the first question is about UAE. Who can get any services and goods in the UAE? Maybe exists blacklist for some countries. Okay, I think they are just wondering if UAE has any blacklist of other countries for exchange of goods and services. Leyla or maybe Theodor, do any of you have any view on this question?
Hi, Ilgar. Thank you for the question. I've seen this question in the beginning of our session. Yeah, I've read it in the chat. Basically, I'm not very keen to to reply about the blacklists here in the session. I prefer if they want just to check it with the, from my side, from my point of view, they will check it with the customs authority. Okay. So yeah, I don't really want to reply on it. Maybe Theodor, he wants to say something.
Well, I can only talk on experiences. There is no official blacklist. When I opened my legal office in 2005, I asked my the free zone actually at this time which kind of nationalities you reject, and they say the only nationality we reject who shall not make business in UAE is Israel. Meanwhile, in the 15 years, I found out that when you apply for a visa and you have, for instance, an Iranian shareholder, then probably the company will not be allowed to be set up. So there are blacklists. When I want to employ a lawyer from Lebanon, I also have usually problems because it's very hard to get a visa for somebody from Lebanon and also doing business in the UAE. But official blacklists, they're not existing. So when you apply for either a company set up with a foreigner who could be not really welcomed in the UAE, you don't get an answer directly, but you just apply, and it takes time and it takes time. And as you probably know, Arab people don't like to say no. They just let you wait. And after a couple of weeks or months and you don't get the approval, you know, this person is not really welcome in the country. So these are my experiences. It is just out of the business we do. And it changes. Sometimes I even had problems with Egyptian lawyers I'm employing because they maybe belong to a party in Egypt, which is not according to the UAE politics and something like that. So you just have to try. If you say, I have a client or I have somebody from this and this country to want to make business in UAE, you just apply and you wait. If you get your approval within 1 or 2 weeks for the so-called pink sheet, this is the approval from the immigration, then you know it's okay. If you wait for 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks, then you better stop this application.
Dear Theodor, I also concur with your observation. I had some experience myself on the front of trying to set up a bank account. I agree that banks at least are hesitant. The countries are the usual suspects you will see in US blacklists. They are applying across the globe, of course, and UAE banks will be hesitant to set up accounts for residents of Iran or Syria or some other countries. So it does happen in practice. You have to take this into account. The next question is from our previous participant, who I believe that's the same person who raised the question about fraud in Panama. They are now clarifying their question and saying, my question was about information published by the journalists based on their assumptions. So you cannot jump into the fraud conclusion here because it's a journalist statement. And this article is constantly an obstacle to opening accounts, etc. Your services are very helpful. I will contact my client and offer to use your services. after collecting all the evidence in this favor. So I guess this is not so much a question, but rather a clarification, and hopefully you two gentlemen, you will get a new client.
Yeah, well, actually, we are happy to do that. As just to be a little more specific, as I said, we need to check every single link. In this specific case, if a journalist is exercising the right, the full freedom to write whatever he or she wants, but then this comes out or turns out to be unreliable, incorrect, wrong, and so on, yes, of course, we can go after this article. Definitely, yes. Yelena has to contact Nicola or myself, and definitely we will have a look.
Thank you very much. So I hope that same participant is still online. It's hard to verify it because we still have more than almost 70 people online. All right, so what I'm doing now, I'm switching to our questions which we received at the time of registration in no particular order, and I will try to combine them as far as I can. And again, I apologize for some of the semantics here and the format and the text. I will have to read them as they are received, and I will try to clarify them. So the question is, the first question, the minimum cost to set up an online business. The jurisdiction is not clarified. It's just the general question. The minimum cost to set up an online business. I think Leyla already answered that in part, as did Theodor, on specific jurisdictions, how much it will cost to set up, and the information and the slides and the recording of this video will be shared afterwards, so the persons can consult. If they need more details, they can get in touch. Next, what are your survival strategies post-pandemic? Okay, that's an interesting one. Any volunteers to pick that question?
I can answer this. I mean, more than a strategic way to survive the pandemic or to come out after the pandemic, is really how to use pandemic or these unfortunate months of quarantine or total lockdown, how to see what we can do in these 2 months or in these 3 months to improve our business, to improve the service we can offer to our clients. As every speaker mentioned before, is something that we can and we have the chance to do it. If I speak regarding Elixir, the last slide I put after the thank you was that unfortunately nowadays we lost, or we are losing for maybe 8 months, 9 months, the chance to have a physical meeting, to sit in a meeting room and to speak with the counterpart, or after the meeting to go out and have a beer. This is where you can understand and know the person, the prospect, or the person a bit better. Nowadays, unfortunately, we have to rely, but thanks God that there is, at least, via Zoom, via e-videos, via e-meetings. And this doesn't give many times the possibility to justify, to explain. It's always difficult to speak in front of the screen. So what we're really considering, and when we speak internally with the company, is that this is the moment that the client has to take in order to, if he has something to remove or that he wants to remove, to clarify it, to clean his online reputation. Because as I was mentioning, the last slide says that it's not more the physical paper business card. Now your business card is online. Whatever you find in internet is what clarifies you. And as you were also mentioning before, directly, this can affect your business, because the first business card is what you see in internet. And if it's a good image, at least is a good point to start. Then of course, interaction with the person, it helps. But if I read that a company has negative information, probably I will check for a competitor or for another company. Thank you.
And from my side, I also want to add what's the project we are looking for, what our strategic is. So we are working on the several projects. One of them, it's Ajman Boulevard. It's, as I mentioned in my presentation, it's incredible rates for the offices, for the office packages. What we're implementing just yesterday, it was confirmed, and we will implement it within the next days, and it will be unbeatable prices for the company formation with the executive offices. What are we looking for also for the same online trading, the e-commerce? We're revising the rates, and we believe that we will implement it in very near future. So it will be extremely much more attractive than it's today. And we are trying to do it also, again, the most competitive in the region. So that's how we are trying to implement our strategies. Thank you.
Thank you. So as you were speaking, I picked some of the questions which we already addressed in the previous speech. Now so it turns out we'll have less questions. So this one, okay, how can we establish an e-commerce? I guess we answered that already. The e-commerce business can be established in those jurisdictions which we discussed, as I'm sure it can be established in other places as well. But as far as we're concerned, both Leyla and Theodor gave some examples. Leyla, another question, I think specific for Ajman, because it says Emirates, not necessarily Ajman, but it says Emirates. Can we pay a license fee in monthly installments? Do we need office space and local sponsor? Can we work anywhere in Emirates?
All right, I will be happy to reply that. We do practicing in Ajman Free Zone the installment payment opportunities, and we don't even increase the rates of our company formation when we do offer installment plan. So basically today what we do, the client, the investor can pay the company formation in 6 installments. It doesn't work for the low cost packages as freelance or pioneer, but for our office, or let's call it flexi days or warehouse packages, we do have this opportunity. And even if the clients, some of the clients, they don't have the UE bank accounts, they cannot provide post-dated checks from them own, so they can use the checks of them relatives or friends, or the people who wants to help with the startups for the particular investor. So yes, we do that. And of course, the local sponsor for the free zone incorporation is not required. It's 100% foreign ownership. And yes, they can operate in the Emirates and the overseas, of course. Thank you for asking that.
Thank you. Another question is how somebody with little experience in online business can manage and grow his own business. I guess there's one thing we discussed about managing business online. There's another thing when we refer to managing online business. Right? So in the latter case, we're talking about the businesses which are entirely happening online, say a language training course of some sort. So for those kind of businesses, again, the digital platform, the virtual environment becomes even more important than in other businesses, in traditional businesses, because everything is happening online. And in that case, I think the things that we all share today, having a strong online reputation and having systems and tools to back up that reputation, keep everything up to speed, even small things as speedy internet, data security, reliable servers, integrated marketing policy, and all of these things are becoming more important when you are managing online business as opposed to when you are managing your business online. So I think, again, this is more like a conceptual question, more generic question, but I hope we have been able to address those questions more or less, unless any of the speakers want to add something to that. in which case please do. We have specific question to Elixir. When will Elixir complete the merger into the BUT shell? I don't know what that means. BUDT?
Well, actually, this is information that we cannot disclose. It's related to our listing to the NASDAQ.
Ah, okay.
So we cannot disclose for obvious reasons.
Yes, absolutely. I understand. And I hope our users, participants will understand too. And maybe we take one final question because it's more of a general nature and anyone can answer that. COVID impact on your respective markets? I mean, probably they are talking about the impact on the economy overall.
Well, I mean, I can start. I mean, as Nicola already, in some ways, already explained and anticipated, I would say, in reality, for us, we do not expect any negative impact business-wise, potential-wise, because in reality, more and more the digital identity plays an important role. So therefore, more and more people are very attentionful to have the proper digital identity. But of course, in some cases, the projects are very complex, very time-consuming. Not having the chance to interact, to sit down with the customer had, let's say, a sort of small slowdown on the conclusion of some projects. But we are extremely optimistic to catch up later.
Thank you.
I can answer as well that definitely COVID-19 it's brought negative impact to the market. This is not a secret. And let's say, if talking about the company formations, it has been dropped since it has been coming here in the UAE up to, I think that was a drop of 70% of company formation down. But still, we are implementing new products, and we still considering that the situation is negative, but still we do incorporate the companies, and we're quite happy about the numbers for the last month. It's considering all this what was happening, it really looks great, and we have a lot of queries. So we hope it will be more positive the next month, and so we're looking forward to implement our new projects and strategies as soon as possible. So, and we hope for the best.
Okay. Theodor, you cover many jurisdictions. Can you maybe share a few views of your own?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, we of course, being mostly corporate lawyers, we experience a lot of company closures, and we are advising clients now more in restructuring, and of course also in new legal tax saving structures, helping them to avoid taxes which until now they were not really aware that they paid it. And of course, one of our stronghold also during my Austrian lawyer time was insolvency and bankruptcy. And I'm holding seminars and webinars, mainly UAE, but also Singapore, which is really hit very, very bad by this COVID, let's say, economic reactions and outlook, because they really shut down for quite some time, and Singapore has a very strong business structure and business life, which is really down to, I don't know, a quarter or less. So insolvency and restructuring is not something modern investors or merchants or businessmen should be afraid of. It is a very legal and very positive way to get out of your debts and your problems. And you can offer your creditors a certain quota between whatever, 10, 15, 20, 25% and you will be debt free, and you can start your own business, you can start your new life. So from the legal point, servicing our clients in Mid East and Far East, we of course feel this economic downturn very strong, not in our own, let's say, account, but the business changes. So from new ventures, new setups, it comes more to restructuring, to closing, and to bankruptcies and insolvencies.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Leyla, I'm afraid you have one more question coming in. Ajman is very popular today.
Thank you for the audience.
I agree. And this one I really like because it seems like the person has a good strategy in their mind and they're trying to address some of the risks they are anticipating. Dear Leyla, do you have a license types for mobile application development, like games, utilities, etc., and selling these applications through Apple Store and Google Play, etc.? So do you have a specific license for this kind of business activity? That's number one. The second part, from the same person, can the free zone company obtain DUNS number required for Apple developer registration? So this is basically a due diligence platform allowing companies based in the US to check for background and what have you. A third one, how UAE banks understand and like such activities. So basically, will the Emirati banks accept mobile application development companies as a genuine business, or will they spend more time on setting up the bank account? So, and they are making it specific that this is not an e-commerce business, it is a mobile application development business. So I understand some of the questions can be too specific. Maybe you are not in a position to answer all of them, but maybe you have experience and you can.
Well, I can answer in general, definitely yes. And I will be definitely contacting later on to the Alex, who is addressing these questions. Yes, we do have activities special for the development. We basically already offered, we have already such a clients who receive this. We call it software trading, import and export. We have also software developing, what we offering, because it will be still in a trading. So we do suggest to have a trading license, which is software trading, import and export. And we don't issue DUNS. We just issue the licenses, and what we do is we are licensing authority, and then we do issue the residency, the UAE residency. The UAE bank understand perfectly, as I know from my clients' experience, this kind of activity, and they do support and they do help to open the bank account. Yes, this is my questions, and of course I will forward to Alex the bank contacts, and they will be able to help. He can chat with he can consult the bankers in order to open bank account, and I will provide the full proposal, detailed proposal, how much it will cost and what is the activity.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Well, with that, I think we have no more open questions, and we have managed to answer, you can be proud of yourselves, we managed to answer 30 questions, 30, online, and we answered around 10 questions on paper, so almost 40 questions, and I hope our participants like this presentation. I really appreciate everyone's time. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to you all.
Thank you. Thank you for organizing.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.